Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Nick Pearl, and holy fresh. What an ending to Raw we just had. I was crying. I have so many feelings towards what we just saw with Uncle Howdy re-debuting here in the WWE with the brand new Wyatt 6. And we all thought it was about 6 people. Yes, eventually there will be 6. But now we have the Wyatt 5, and instead of the number 6, it's SICKS, the 6. How they're all freaking sickos. And everybody in the past has all done them wrong. Uncle Howdy welcomed them in, even with all of their problems and issues that they did have. So let's break down this probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, re-debut of all time. You thought Bray Wyatt's was good? I think this one tops it. Even though we knew it was coming, the way it was shot, there's nothing. I have no issue. The only issue I have is that the lantern didn't blow out at the same time that Bo blew into it, which is fine. I don't care. But let's talk about this. So first, you're in the ring after the main event. Jey Uso advances to Money in the Bank. Okay? From there, you get the Fiend. When the lights will go out, you get the Fiend sound effects. From there, I got chills. Lights go out. The door that Wyatt walked through, back at the top of the ramp. And Wyatt's theme song, the beginning of it, starts to play. Just that singular note over and over and over again, like a circle. It always comes back around. Circle, constantly repeating. Door opens. First person to come through the door, or thing to come through the door. Out crawls Nikki Cross. And Nikki Cross, if you hadn't seen any of her work in NXT before she got called up and got ruined, Nikki Cross as a psycho insanity, it was the best character. She was, back in the day, my favorite wrestlers. You had Toni Storm, you had Bianca Belair, and you had Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross had an excellent match against Asuka, and the last woman standing. She never was able to get back to that point where she was seen as a credible threat. And her reintroduction, how creepy she looked. This is the Nikki Cross I want. Unhinged. You can't predict what she's going to do. Perfect for her. And for her to be the first person thing to come through that door, very unexpected. But from there, the cameraman doesn't go through the door. The cameraman walks around. And this is all one shot. You see everything in time as it happens. It's not like you have one camera shot, you cut it. Another camera shot, you cut it. I went to film school. Doing it in one shot made the moment. Everybody's on the edge of their seats watching, being like, this is happening right now. All continuous. Cameraman goes behind the door to the back. There's Eric Rowan. That immediately gives this group some prestige. It gives them a reason. They go into gorilla position. They go backstage to where you got the producers and everybody. They go through the curtain, and the backstage, the lights are flickering like crazy. People are just laid out on the ground. You got a light flashing of the logo. I love the logo, by the way. It's a mix of the Pluto image that we've been seeing, the bird. It's a mix of it all with the circle for Wyatt, because he was the color red in a world full of black and white. And he would constantly say that the circle, everything with the circle. When Howdy moves, everything constantly going over and over again. But you walk through, camera pans up, sitting there very creepily is Dexter Lumis. Him as the silent assassin of this group. Like I said before, Dexter Lumis in NXT. He was really, really good. And then they put him with Indy Hartwell. They kind of made it comedic. He was a stalker, a serial killer. Silent Dexter Lumis, kidnapping people. Best version of his character. Back around in a circle. Same as Nikki Cross. Eric Rowan was the beast of the Wyatt family originally, before Strowman was involved. Back in the circle. Dexter Lumis now has a beard. Dexter Lumis is perfect for this group. Moving on from there, camera continues going, goes through the curtain. You see Joe Gacy, someone who has never been involved with anything Wyatt, but people, me personally, I didn't really like Joe Gacy. I just saw him as a Wyatt 2.0, but the fact that he was even viewed as a Wyatt 2.0, it means something. So him being in this group, he's obviously inspired by Wyatt with the way he cuts his promos and stuff. He lost his family. They welcomed him in. Now he has a purpose again. And after you see Joe Gacy, camera goes back a little more. There's Chad Gable. And in some of these teasers, they had a CG. Nobody knew what CG meant. Does it mean Chelsea Green? Does it mean Corey Graves? Does it mean Chad Gable? And Gable, backstage earlier in the night, was being watched by Ramblin' Rabbit. The rabbit was sitting in a shoe in the locker room. So they had their eyes on him. Now, this group, it was reported they're not going to be doing so much like supernatural stuff. It's more horror, straight up horror. So those puppets, if they're really being portrayed in real life now, if you have the puppets just laying around backstage randomly at who and looking at who's going to be targeted next, and then they come out in these creepy freaking masks, it's perfect. It's not supernatural, but it still holds the value of being supernatural, even though it's not. You got puppets brought to life. After you see Gable with all the blood on his head, camera pans up one last time to reveal the brand new Uncle Howdy mask. And it's very similar to what we've had, but now he's got the Fiend, like the hair really long. He's got a brighter mask like the Fiend used to have. He was wearing not two gloves, but one glove. Walks out, he's got his hat, new hat, similar idea. As he walks through, everybody follows him. He does his hand sing. Gacy comes out behind him. Dexter follows him. They go out front. Rowan catches up to them. They all go to where Nikki Cross has been creepily just there. She's been there for a good 4 minutes at this point, to where the lantern gets picked up by Uncle Howdy. It had been there with Nikki Cross. Lantern gets picked up by Uncle Howdy. He holds it. We're here. Blows it out. Now, when do we see all these people wrestle? I'm very intrigued right now. Like, I was shaking. I was crying. Like, I'm just so shook up over this. I'm so excited. You think maybe they take a little too long to get the ball rolling, but then you wouldn't have felt the emotion. Everybody knew what was happening. Everybody knew this was coming. That's the only difference from this debut and Wyatt coming back. Wyatt, people assumed it was him, but it wasn't 100% confirmed. We knew what was happening here. Where do they go from here? Me personally, I think they have tons of options. You could go, who was in that triple threat match just now that they had in the main event? You had Jey Uso defeat Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio. Finn Balor could be option number one in the Judgment Day. Judgment Day's got a big group of people. The Wyatt Sick6 have a big group of people. You could do faction warfare like that. Finn Balor was the first target of the Fiend. That could be a feud. Rey Mysterio, he has history with Wyatt. Not as much as everybody else, but he did take a really sick-looking Sister Abigail that I'm sure they would be down to recreate. And you have Jey Uso, who claims to have taken the Fireflies, and he now uses them in his entrance every single night. Maybe this is going to be a story of Bo wanting to reclaim the Fireflies, which would be fantastic. They don't need championship belts. Now with Uncle Howdy, I don't think we're going to see him wrestle as much. I think it's really going to be these other people doing the wrestling for him. And they're going to be going up against every single person that has done them wrong in the past. So I fully expect Nikki Cross to go after Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I fully expect Dexter Lumis to be going after them with her as well as Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I could see Gargano and Ciampa going after Austin Theory and Grayson Waller's tag titles, but then they get screwed because of Dexter Lumis and Nikki Cross. You got Joe Gacy. Who do you put him up against? Joe Gacy hasn't had much history with a lot of people in the main roster. Joe Gacy, you could put him with anyone. I don't have a problem. I would love to see Eric Rowan and Joe Gacy as a tag team. Something different. Eric Rowan is really a tag team kind of guy. All these people, they're going to have a million different feuds going on at once. It's all going to be done to bring Strowman in maybe and to bring in Bliss. I'm just very excited. I'm very happy. And I'm glad to see all these guys back on TV, even though I didn't really like Joe Gacy. I'll say it over and over again. He was really freaking great with his head movements and stuff. Really creepy. This was a 10 out of 10 debut, re-debut for all of them. And I had people watching that don't watch wrestling. And they thought it was really freaking cool. So I'm going to be up all night looking at Twitter as soon as this podcast gets uploaded. I'm uploading it immediately. No 3:30 start tomorrow. Let's just see where it goes from here. I cannot wait to see what happens next. This is a story to truly honor the legacy of Bray Wyatt. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you all on the next episode. Let's keep rambling, everybody.